beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your...
Hey guys, it's Kira and it is Friday, which means it's time for another weekend vlog. Due to recent changes in the guidance surrounding the pandemic here in the UK, I'm now back to working from home full time because the government have now said that if you can work from home you should. So I'm no longer going back into the office, which means that it does feel like my weekend is starting slightly earlier, because normally at this time I would still be driving home on a Friday, but because I am working from home as soon as I log off from the computer on Friday night, that means the weekend starts immediately, which is quite nice. So I started my weekend with a new drink. As you just saw, I made myself a vanilla protein chai. Just thought I'd try out throwing in some like vegan vanilla protein powder, and it seems to have worked out quite well. It was essentially just my usual chai latte recipe, which is just a base of oat milk with some cinnamon and ginger, and then I also threw in some mixed spice as well, some maple syrup to sweeten, and then I just had a bit of English breakfast tea brewed in my mug, topped it off with the spicy milk, but then I had also added in the vegan vanilla protein powder, just like a spoonful or so, to add in a little bit of a vanilla-y flavour, get in some protein, and it seems to have worked quite well. It's added in quite a nice flavour, and the only reason I decided to do it with that protein powder is because that is the smoothest vegan protein powder I've ever had. It's from a brand called Free Soul, and I'm kind of obsessed because vegan protein powders, if any of you have tried them, are usually super grainy and not that pleasant to drink, so I wouldn't usually try to add them into a hot drink because it would just be a horrible drinking experience. But that one is so smooth and it blended in with the chai mix so perfectly and just was a really nice addition. So started my weekend with that, and I'm actually just about to head out to an evening yoga class, which is going to be a really lovely way to start the weekend. It's a yoga teacher whose classes usually fall outside of the times that I could go to because they're either when I'm at work or when I'm teaching, but again, because I'm at home already and not driving back from the office, it means I can get into the yoga studio for the 6 p.m. class, and I cannot wait. Aside from that, I genuinely think, I feel like I've been saying it for the last few weeks now, but I genuinely think I'm actually going to be able to have a little bit more of a chilled out weekend this weekend. So after the yoga class, I'm just going to be enjoying a really lovely and relaxing evening, hopefully focusing on finishing off The Secret She Keeps. This is the third weekend that I've been reading this book now, and I'm only 100 pages away from the end, and I'm really loving it, so I'm hoping to finish this one off this evening. And then the main plan for this weekend is to read as much as possible, because it is currently the 25th, I think, of September, so we've got 5 days left of the month, and I have only finished 2 books. When I finish this one, it will be up to 3, but I would really like to be able to finish at least 5 books for the month, which means that I have a lot of reading on the cards this weekend, which is more than okay with me. So without further ado, I'm going to finish off the last few mouthfuls of this chai, head off to yoga, and then I'll see you when I get back. Hey guys, it's now Saturday and I honestly feel like a new person today. That yoga class last night was absolutely amazing, loved it, and it was the perfect start to the weekend. But then after getting home, as planned, I just had a really chilled out Friday night. Jay and I were contemplating maybe going to hot yoga this morning, but we were both so exhausted that we decided to just have a relaxed morning as well, and it has made such a difference because I feel so much more energized and just ready for the weekend now, which is obviously a good thing. So I'm glad that I gave myself that time to rest so that now I can have a much more enjoyable weekend without feeling completely run down the whole time. So I'm just getting ready to head out for the day with my mum and my sister. My mum and Attain, my sister, are actually looking at moving house soon, so we're going to look at a house that they're thinking of maybe buying, so that's super exciting. And then I think we're going to go out for lunch and just have a nice day out. I will be getting the train home later though, so I am going to bring my book with me and hopefully finish the final 100 pages on the way home, and I will keep you updated with everything that we get up to today.
We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
That was a really nice day out with my mum and my sister. It literally was a full day out though, because we set off at just after 10 o'clock this morning and it is now like just after 6 o'clock in the evening, so that day has just absolutely flown by. First of all, it was just really lovely to be able to go and see that house that they're thinking of getting, because it was such a lovely space. Be kind of sad because currently they literally live like 2 minutes away from me and this new house is quite a bit further away, but at the same time it was such a lovely house, so fingers crossed that they are able to hopefully get it, because it was a really lovely house. And then we ended up going to a town called Skipton for the day, which is quite close to the place that we were looking at that house, and it's been ages since I've been to Skipton, so that was quite nice. We went for some lunch, had coffee and a vegan cake somewhere. And then what else did we do? Oh yeah, we did a little bit of shopping, and something that I wasn't expecting to find but came across a couple of shops and went a little bit mad on was crystals. So I've ended up getting quite a few crystals. They were just so mesmerizing, so I thought I would do a little crystal haul. Haven't ever done something like this before, but I do absolutely love them and I kind of want to start a little bit of a collection. I took a couple of pictures of the things that I picked up just so I could explain them. So first up we have my favorite crystal, which is a rose quartz. I mean, look how absolutely beautiful that is. And rose quartz, according to this, is a stone of universal love, restoring trust and harmony in relationships, encouraging unconditional love, purifying and opening the heart to promote love, self-love, friendship, healing and feelings of peace, dispelling negativity and protecting against environmental pollution. So I feel like this is just, it's so beautiful. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. So that was a given. I was definitely going to get that. I then picked up this incredible amethyst, which just looks so magical. I absolutely loved it. So amethyst on this says, amethyst is a very powerful healing and protective stone, guarding against psychic attack, transmitting energy into love, blocking negative environmental energies, enhancing higher states of consciousness, beneficial to the mind, stimulating or calming as required, facilitates decision making, which I need because I'm really bad at making decisions, and protecting against nightmares, balancing highs and lows, and promoting emotional centering and spiritual wisdom. and this is the amethyst. Wow, this one looks the most incredible because it's just so beautiful. So that was the amethyst I picked up. I then picked up a citrine point, which is also quite beautiful. And citrine says, powerful cleanser and regenerator, carrying the power of the sun, which is always nice. Highly creative, absorbs and transmits, dissipates and grounds negative energy. Very protective for the environment, associated with the solar plexus and the navel chakra. Chakras are something that I briefly learnt about during my yoga teacher training, but I feel like I need to learn a lot more about. And then it's a stone of abundance, manifesting and attracting wealth, imparting joy and generosity of spirit, raising self-esteem, enhancing individuality and improving motivation. Activates creativity, encourages self-expression and a positive attitude, and promotes optimism, which is always a good thing. And then the final one I picked up was actually recommended to me by the lady who run the shop, and it was this natural lepidolite, which isn't something that I would have typically gone for. It's a lot more just like stony. I feel like the camera's not really focusing on this one. Stop focusing on my face and look at this rock. There we go. So this is the lepidolite, and the reason that the woman said this to me was because I was saying how I was wanting to get these crystals just to kind of like brighten up my workspace, and she said that if you work at a computer a lot, this is meant to be really good because it clears electromagnetic pollution and dissipates negative energy, clears blockages, brings cosmic awareness, aids in spiritual journeying, and apparently it's just really good for like benefiting you if you're spending a lot of time on electrical equipment. So that was what I picked up in my little crystal haul, and I'm really, really excited to have these in my space now, just because they all look so beautiful. And hopefully, even if they're, you know, they're great just for looking nice, and then hopefully if some of those magical properties are there as well, then that's just always a bonus. Next up, I did manage to finish up reading The Secret She Keeps whilst I was on the train home, and this was such a good book. I think it's going to be a 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. It was, I'd say, largely a domestic thriller, given that the sort of main focus was these two women's pregnancies and the secrets and drama surrounding it, but there were some really high stakes. So although it was quite like grounded in the sense that it was quite a relatable subject matter in the sense that it was about pregnancy and domestic family life, it was really high stakes and very intense, and for the most part it was very thrilling because of how, I guess, like real the subject matter felt, and how it felt like it could be something that could happen to anyone but you wouldn't want it to. However, the ending I felt like was just slightly anticlimactic given how intense the rest of the book had been, which is why I've ended up giving it 4 stars rather than 5, just because, yeah, it was a slightly anticlimactic ending, but nevertheless a really good book, and I'll definitely be trying to find more books by Michael Rowbotham because I really enjoyed his writing style. For now, I have made my way into the conservatory because I'm just about to log on to the live show for the Dark Academics for September. This month we read Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I really enjoyed this one. I read this a few weeks ago in one of my weekend vlogs, and I thought it was an incredible book, so I'm really excited to discuss this with everyone else in the book club and see what they all thought. So this one is over on Lucy's channel. I will link it down below because that will of course be up by the time this vlog is live, and I think it's going to be a really interesting discussion.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Maybe tilt down slightly more. That'll do. Now you can turn it back.
Okay.
So we're just on our Sunday afternoon walk and I had to go to Starbucks. First of all, just because the pumpkin spice lattes are out and it's autumn, so that's kind of just obvious. But also because I just saw that Starbucks have released vegan whipped cream along with their pumpkin spice lattes this year, which is so exciting because I've never seen that anywhere actually. I don't think I've ever been to anywhere, not even a proper vegan cafe, that does vegan whipped cream, so I obviously had to try it. So without further ado, trying my first pumpkin spice latte of the year, but with cream. Oh, that is really nice. Delightful.
Any descriptions? What's that?
Just like pumpkin spice latte. I find the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte usually kind of bitter, and I think the vegan whipped cream adds a little bit more sweetness and creaminess, which just like makes it a much nicer drinking experience.
Nice.
We're back from our afternoon walk, which was lovely. It feels so autumnal and I'm really happy to have pulled this coat out again because this coat just feels like the start of autumn to me, and today it was such a crisp and cool day. It was really nice to get out for a walk because I feel like I've spent a lot of time in the house this week, which is something I'm going to be trying to do more often now, just getting out and specifically making time to leave the house, because now that I'm back working from home I just think it's nice to make sure that I actually get out. But now that I'm home we have basically no other plans for the day, and that's quite exciting for me, and I'm going to be doing some reading. Now because yesterday I finally managed to finish reading this book, The Secret She Keeps, it's time to choose a new read. And honestly, because I've been reading this book for so long, like it feels like I've been reading this book for pretty much the whole of September, I honestly have kind of forgotten how I go about choosing books. So I've tried to narrow down a few choices, and I have lots. I'm looking at my shelves and there's loads of books that I'm like really wanting to read soon, but they just seem like October books. So I'm kind of left with a few choices for the last couple of books that I'm going to be reading in September. So without further ado, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books to choose from. So first on the cards we have The Truants by Kate Weinberg, which is a dark academia. Looks really interesting, and I'm also really obsessed with the yellow colour on this cover, and it kind of is a little bit of a vibe with my coat and jumper that I've got going on today. Then we have Hot Milk by Deborah Levy, which I do feel like is more of a summer read, to be honest, so this one might just sit on my shelves until next summer, but we'll see. I do want to read it. Then we have Expectation, which is a book that I hadn't heard of, but Em suggested it to me. She was thinking it sounded interesting as well, but it basically focuses on 3 friends, Hannah, Kate and Lisa, and they are young, vibrant and inseparable, and they've basically got like really high hopes and like ambitious futures, and then it's like a 10 years later type story where everything is a little bit not as good as they were hoping. That sounds interesting. Last Time Standing, I opened this in a book unboxing that I did in last weekend's vlog. This is by Lauren Ho and it sounds pretty interesting. I'd again never heard of it, my friend Grace sent it to me, and it basically is like a person who is like meant to be living like the perfect life, like a model lawyer, model child, basically doing everything that they should be, but actually everything isn't quite what it seems. We then have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, which is a domestic drama. I feel like a lot of people love this one, and I really am excited to read it, but equally I'm not sure if this one is more of an October read as well. And the final book I have is Loveless by Alice Oseman, which I started reading a little while ago. I was doing a buddy read with my friend Meg, and then I ended up just getting busy with other things and kind of abandoned it, so I probably do want to make a start on this one. So let's think. Having just explored these options, I think my top 3 would be Loveless, because I want to read it because I've already started it, Expectations and The Truants. So, Jay?
Yeah.
Which book should I read?
What
We've got The Truants.
Okay.
Expectation. And Loveless.
I'm a sucker for covers, and I quite like the yellow one.
I like the yellow one as well, and also look, I'm like...
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Okay. Truants it is, because we just couldn't resist the cover. So, I'm going to be making a start on this one. I think I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea, and then I'll do some reading.
sleep. Hear the crickets, see the moon, side by side and through. No limit to what we can do. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So it's now Bake Off Day again, which is otherwise known as Tuesday for those of you who don't watch Bake Off. But I thought now would be a great time to catch back up with you guys, because yesterday ended up being such a busy day that I didn't end up picking the camera up at all. It was Monday, which is usually the busiest day of my work week, which kind of meant that I didn't have all that much time anyway. But then aside from work, I ended up going to a lunchtime yoga class, an evening yoga class, and then after the evening class I then taught a class. So it ended up being a very yoga filled day, and I pretty much filled up any amount of spare time that I had with yoga, which just meant that I didn't really have time to pick up the camera or do anything else. But it's now Tuesday evening. I just finished work for the day, and I thought I would give you a little bit of a reading update, because on Sunday I did make a start on the truants. And already I'm getting the feeling that Jay and I were very rightly swayed by the cover of this book, because I'm really enjoying it. It's one of those books which has a character who likes reading as the main character, and I really like that because there are references within this book about why books can be so impactful, and as someone who obviously loves reading, I really like that. So there's this one quote that really gripped me from quite early on in the book, where the main character Jess has been given a book for Christmas, and this book kind of shapes the path that her life goes down, because she becomes quite obsessed with the author of the book and decides to go to a particular university where this author is a lecturer, basically to sort of be taught by this author. So the book that she reads sort of was about literary criticism, and she says, "When the hell did that change anyone's life, for God's sake? Except it did mine, and I knew it would almost from the first paragraph, because Lorna's voice pulled me in and down like a riptide, carrying you underwater and far out to sea, so that when, about page 5, I flipped to the author picture on the back, I saw her clever, beautiful face and read the sentence about where she taught. I thought, here she is at last, the person who will take me out of this small, airless world before all the banality chokes me." And I was like, wow. Obviously slightly dramatic, but on the whole I really liked how it explored how books have the capacity and the power, and of course authors along with their books have this power to completely transport you into a world entirely different from the one that you actually exist in. And I just like the fact that it kind of delved into that right at the beginning, and that kind of sets up this book as something that has that power and also quite cleverly recognises its power within itself, which I just think is really cool. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm only about 60 pages in, and so far I can't tell exactly what direction this book is going to take, but I am really enjoying it. And then in keeping with this yellow theme, although I said that I was going to try and bake every week for Bake Off, I've been having such a busy couple of days that I haven't even had time to consider baking anything, so instead I nipped to Tesco and I got myself a little Bake Off treat, which is these wicked healthy lemon cupcakes, because who doesn't love a lemon cupcake? I love lemon anything, and I've never yet seen like vegan cupcakes packaged like this, where you can just grab them and, you know, take them to a party or eat 6 while you're watching Bake Off, whatever you fancy. But essentially I just couldn't resist these. They also have a chocolate version, but I was swayed by lemon because lemon just sounds and looks so incredible. So feeling very yellow very at the moment, but you know, loving it because yellow is such a happy colour, and I'm feeling happy because it is my favourite day of the week. So I'm going to go and grab some dinner, do a little bit of editing, and maybe see if I have time to squeeze in some reading before Bake Off starts, and then I'll be settling down with a cup of tea, a lemon muffin, and a wonderful episode of Bake Off. And I'll let you know how these muffins are because they look incredible, and I'm hoping that they taste as good as they look. So sorry to sound like a broken record, but time is just going so quickly. I absolutely cannot keep up at the moment, which is something I absolutely need to work on, but time just seems to be flying by. I'm currently still reading The Truants, and reading this book and a particular section in this book, which I'll talk about in a moment, really made me think about how there was this children's TV show here in the UK on CBBC called Bernard's Watch, which was on like years and years ago when I was way younger. I don't know if some of you guys who are also from the UK maybe will know what I'm talking about, but just to summarise in case you don't or you're not from the UK, Bernard's Watch is this children's TV show about this kid called Bernard, and he has a stopwatch, and it's like a magical stopwatch that essentially freezes time. And so when he presses this stopwatch, everything freezes around him, but he's still moving, so he can like get extra stuff done or like sneak around and do something that he shouldn't be doing. But I could really use one of those stopwatches right now because I just feel like there are not enough hours in the day to get everything done. I think this month in particular, September, has just been really intense because I'm back at work full-time 5 days a week. I am teaching yoga and picking up more classes, doing YouTube, which I obviously love, and then trying to keep on top of reading. And it would seem that during this month, reading is the thing that has suffered because I haven't been doing as much of it as I would like. So, because I obviously can't get myself a Bernard's watch because I don't think they exist, or at least if they do, I haven't ever come across one, I think October's goal is just going to be to try and get better with managing my time and fitting in everything that I want to fit in, but also having enough time for, you know, sleeping and all that kind of stuff as well. But with that in mind, one thing I have been able to fit in over the last couple of weeks is getting back to the gym. So I just got back from a lunchtime gym session. It's now Thursday actually, I haven't actually mentioned that yet, but it's Thursday. Just got back from a lunchtime gym session, and because it's almost the weekend again, I thought I would give you one last reading update before concluding this vlog and then catching up with you in next week's vlog. So like I said, I'm still on with The Truants, and I'm currently 110 pages into this. The reason this book made me think of Bernard's Watch was because there was a conversation between our main character Jess and another character from the book called Alec about whether or not you've ever wanted to stop time, and Alec kind of tells Jess about this particular memory he has of where he thought he'd frozen time, but obviously he hadn't. And I'm loving this book. I'm not sure what direction it's going to go in because some of the quotes on the back say, as much a coming-of-age tale as a murder mystery, and like a wickedly brilliant Donna Tartt, Agatha Christie and Leanne Moriarty all mixed into one. And so far there's no murder mystery element within this book. It very much feels on the same sort of trajectory as things like Sally Rooney's writing style, in the sense that it feels very like contemporary, quite literary fiction. It feels quite elevated. The characters are quite intellectual. It's set in a university setting, and we have these very complex relationships between characters. So we have our main character Jess, who's almost infatuated with her professor Lorna, who is kind of the reason that she decided to go to this particular university. She then becomes involved with a different character and very interested in another character. She also very quickly becomes very close best friends with a girl that she meets in her first year of university. So there are these very intense relationships and lots of lines connecting all of these different people, and of course that adds even more complexity to the situation. So at the moment it feels a lot more like those sort of contemporary literary fictions I've mentioned, but I'm not sure where the murder mystery element is going to come in, but I'm really excited to see where it does. So that is my reading update for now. That is how I've managed to get on with the truants, and I'm really enjoying it. But for now, I'm going to finish this vlog up here and catch up with you next week. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.